My dear brothers and sisters, there are forces at work in this world, some seen, some unseen, that shape the way we rise in the morning and how we rest at night. We are vessels, walking temples, carrying within us the divine spark of creation. And yet many of us allow the places we call home, the very spaces where we should find comfort, to become holding grounds for chaos, for stagnation, for unseen burdens that do not belong to us. Your bedroom, yes, your sacred chamber. It should be a sanctuary, a place where dreams are nurtured, where peace stretches itself wide across your bed, where your spirit is replenished after a day of battle. But too many of us have unknowingly invited clutter, disorder, and remnants of broken things into this holy space. We have made room for stagnation and called it nostalgia. We have held on to worn-out memories, broken objects, unfinished tasks, and called them sentimental. But let me tell you something, my dear ones. The things we hold on to, the energy we sleep beside, the items we refuse to let go of, they all speak. They whisper in the night. They shape our thoughts, they mold our habits. There are things, yes, tangible, everyday things that must be removed, cast out, released, if we are to step into the abundance that has already been written for us. The weight of poverty is not just in a pocket that is empty. It is in a spirit that has settled for less, a mind that has made a home in limitation, a person who sleeps surrounded by broken things and wonders why they cannot rise in wholeness. You must walk through your space with new eyes, with the vision of someone who understands that what you keep keeps you. The weight of old things, stagnant things, broken things. They are anchors, my dear ones, keeping you tied to the very cycles you have prayed to be freed from. So tonight, let us look together. Let us open the doors, clear the corners, dust off the remnants of the past, and make space for the future that is waiting to enter. There are things that speak without words, things that carry energy without ever moving. A cracked mirror still reflects, but it does not reflect truth. A broken clock still exists, but it does not tell time. A chair with one leg missing still sits in the corner, but it is not a place of rest. It is a symbol of something left unfinished, something abandoned, something unable to fulfill its purpose. Look around you. Look at the things you have kept, the things you have walked past so many times that you no longer see them. That old lamp that no longer works but still stands by your bedside, that dress with a tear at the seam that you have promised to fix for years, that pile of shoes worn beyond use but still taking up space in your closet. These are not just objects. They are whispers of stagnation, quiet confirmations that you have settled into the habit of keeping things that no longer serve you. Oh, my dear ones, I tell you this, not to shame you, because poverty is not just the absence of money. It is the presence of lack. It is the acceptance of things that do not serve, do not move, do not bless. A person who surrounds themselves with broken things begins to adopt the spirit of brokenness. A person who refuses to let go of what is no longer useful is unknowingly telling the universe, I am comfortable with the outdated, the incomplete, the things that have already served their time. And yet we wonder why newness does not come. We wonder why we feel stuck. We wonder why opportunities pass us by. But tell me, if your arms are full of things that no longer serve you, how can you receive what is waiting to be given? If your space is cluttered with things that have no purpose, how can clarity find you? If your bedroom, the very place where you rest, where you pray, where you dream, is filled with reminders of stagnation, how can movement find its way to you? I tell you today, there must be a cleansing, a release, a letting go, because broken things hold broken energy. The spirit of poverty is not just about what you do not have, it is about what you continue to keep that no longer serves you. There are things in your space right now that are holding you back, that are reinforcing cycles of delay, that are whispering, stay right where you are. Do not move. Do not change. Do not grow. But you, my dear one, were not made for stagnation. You were not made to be surrounded by things that are no longer whole. You were created to rise, to move, to step into newness with boldness. And for that, you must first make space. You must first decide that the things around you will match the future you are stepping into. Tonight, I urge you, walk through your room as if you are walking through your life. Look at what no longer serves. Look at what no longer speaks life. Look at what is broken, not with the eyes of sentiment, but with the eyes of someone who understands that your environment shapes your destiny. And then let go, release, make space, because your future is waiting, but it cannot enter a room that is already too full. There is something about clutter, something about disarray that extends beyond what the eyes can see. It is more than just a pile of clothes on a chair, more than just papers stacked high, more than just misplaced shoes scattered across the floor. Clutter is a language, a silent declaration of what is happening within. It is the outward expression of an inward reality, the visible evidence of a mind that has not yet found its rhythm, its clarity, its order. Oh, my dear ones, do you not see it? The way disorder takes up space in your room, the way it lingers, the way it spreads. First a small area, then another, until one day you look up and realize that chaos has settled in as if it belongs there. And yet we wonder why our thoughts feel foggy, why decisions feel difficult, why movement seems slow. But how can the spirit move freely in a place where disorder has taken residence? How can newness come when there is no room to receive it? Some of you are waking up every morning surrounded by unfinished things, by misplaced objects, by a space that does not invite peace. And whether you realize it or not, it is affecting you. It is shaping your days. It is shifting your energy. You cannot see the way forward because your surroundings reflect indecision. You cannot find rest because there is no order where you lay your head. Clutter, my dear ones, is not just physical. It is spiritual. It is emotional. It is the weight of the unresolved, the laundry you have not put away, the stack of unread books, the scattered shoes, the papers collecting dust on the nightstand. All of these are symbols of something left undone, something that has not been brought into alignment. Al, I must ask you, what message is your space sending? What is it whispering to you in the quiet hours of the night? Is it speaking peace or is it speaking restlessness? Is it reminding you of what is possible or is it holding you captive in a cycle of delay? Because you must understand, my dear ones, that your bedroom is not just a room. It is your place of retreat. It is where your body heals, where your mind resets, where your dreams begin to take form. And if that space is cluttered, then your spirit is fighting against an environment that does not align with growth. Some of you have been praying for clarity, for breakthrough, for direction, and yet you have not considered how the very place where you rest is working against you. You see, when your room is in disorder, when it carries the weight of neglect, it creates a heaviness that lingers, and the spirit of poverty, oh, how it loves disorder. It thrives in confusion. It multiplies in places where things are left unresolved. It takes root in spaces where things pile up, where things are ignored, where things are left unattended. But hear me now. Order is a declaration. When you clear your space, when you remove what no longer serves, when you bring harmony to where there was once disorder, you are not just cleaning your room, you are shifting your reality. You are making a statement in the spirit. You are saying, I am ready for newness. I am ready for clarity. I am ready for abundance. So tonight, I ask you to look around, not with judgment, not with frustration, but with an awakened spirit. Look at what must be placed where it belongs. Look at what must be removed entirely. Look at what has been sitting untouched for too long. And as you do understand this, as you clear your space, you are making room for As you bring order, you are setting the stage for a new season. Because where there is order, there is flow. Where there is peace, there is progress. And where there is intentionality, there is abundance waiting to be received. There are things we carry, not in our hands, not on our backs, but in the corners of our rooms, on the shelves of our closets, in the boxes we tuck away, but never truly forget. These things sit silently, gathering dust, but they are not just objects. Oh, no, my dear ones. They are remnants of a past that has long since passed, yet still lingers, still whispers, still holds us in ways we do not even realize. Some of you sleep beside memories that were never meant to follow you into this season of your life. Some of you hold on to things that remind you of heartbreak, of disappointment, of loss, believing that by keeping them you are keeping a part of what was a letter from a love that was never true, a photograph of a friendship that betrayed you, a piece of jewelry given by someone whose presence in your life brought more pain than joy. And you say it's just an object, it's just a small thing. But in the spirit, it is more than that. It is an anchor. It is a tie to something that no longer serves you, no longer nourishes you, no longer belongs in the place where you rest. Do you not know, my dear ones, that what you keep holds power, that objects are not just things, but carriers of energy, of emotions, of the moments they represent? Some of you are struggling to move forward because even as you take steps ahead, your surroundings keep you tethered to yesterday. You are wondering why healing feels incomplete, why you cannot seem to find peace, why certain wounds refuse to close. But tell me, how can they heal when you surround yourself with the very things that remind you of what broke you? Your bedroom is meant to be a place of restoration. It is where you lay your head at night, where you dream, where your soul rests. But if your room holds reminders of pain, then you are not truly resting. You are relieving. You are giving space to things that should have been released long ago. Oh, my dear ones, do not be afraid to let go. Let go of the dress that reminds you of the night your heart was shattered. Let go of the book gifted by the one who walked away. Let go of the souvenirs from a time when you were lost, when you were struggling, when you were someone you no longer are. Because when you remove these things, you are not just decluttering, you are breaking ties. You are reclaiming your peace. You are making space for new joy, new love, new beginnings. Some of you have prayed for a fresh start, but God cannot pour new wine into old wineskins. You must first empty the space. You must decide, I will no longer hold on to what is holding on to me, because your future is not in the things of yesterday. Your healing is not in the objects that carry pain. And the moment you release, the moment you clear your space of the remnants of brokenness, you will feel the weight lift, you will breathe deeper, you will sleep in peace. Because you have finally made room for the beauty, the abundance, the joy that is waiting to enter. Oh, my dear ones, do you know that everything in your space carries a message? Everything speaks, even if it makes no sound. The way your room is arranged, the things you allow in your sight, the way your space embraces you or repels you, it all holds power. And few things in your bedroom speak as loudly as your mirrors. Mirrors are not just glass, they are reflections. They hold images, they capture light, they reveal what is seen and what is hidden. And yet many of us do not understand that how we place our mirrors, how we interact with them, and what they reflect back to us shapes the energy of our room, our spirit, and even our prosperity. Some of you have mirrors facing your bed, and you do not realize the spiritual implications. The place where you rest, where your spirit is most vulnerable, is being watched, is being doubled, is being reflected back at you, even in the stillness of the night. And let me tell you, my dear ones, not everything should be magnified. Not everything should be given a second presence in your space. When you sleep, your soul enters rest, your body resets, and yet the energy in your room continues to move. And what your mirror reflects may be holding energy that does not serve you. Some of you have old mirrors, mirrors that have passed through hands you do not know, mirrors that have carried the eyes of those before you. And you wonder why, when you look into them, you sometimes feel different. Why there are moments when you glance at yourself and feel something watching back. Because mirrors, oh my dear ones, they do not just reflect. They hold, they store, they remember. And if you are not careful, if you have not prayed over them, if you have not positioned them with intention, they may be keeping energies, images, and impressions that were never meant to be part of your space. And then there are those of you who have mirrors reflecting clutter, mirrors facing open closets filled with disarray, mirrors amplifying what is out of order. And what does that do? It doubles the chaos. It reinforces the lack of clarity. It ensures that confusion is not just present, but multiplied. You see, a mirror can be your ally or your enemy, depending on what it chooses to show you. But let me ask you, my dear one, when you look into it, do you see strength, confidence, beauty? Or do you see weariness, burden, doubt? Because I tell you this, if your mirror is placed where it does not serve you, if it is showing you things that do not bring peace, if it is carrying remnants of an energy that does not align with where you are going, it is time to move it. It is time to remove it. It is time to cleanse what is seen so that what is unseen can be transformed. Because your reflection, your space, your very atmosphere must speak of your future, not your. It must align with where you are going, not where you have been. And when you set your surroundings in divine order, when you make sure that what you see empowers you instead of drains you, oh, my dear ones, that is when you will truly step into abundance, into prosperity, into the life that was meant for you. Oh, my dear ones, do you know that rest is sacred? That the bed you lay upon is not just a piece of furniture, but a place of renewal, of restoration, of deep communion with the divine? And yet, many of us have turned our resting place into a holding ground for exhaustion, for old energy, for things that should have been released long ago. Some of you have sheets that are frayed at the edges, pillowcases that have held too many sleepless nights, blankets that have absorbed years of worry and wear. You keep them out of habit, out of comfort, out of the thought that it doesn't matter. But hear me, it matters. It matters because everything holds energy. It matters because what surrounds you when you sleep speaks into your spirit. When you lay your head upon a pillow that has lost its softness, when you wrap yourself in bedding that has lost its warmth, you are telling the universe, I accept what no longer serves me. And yet, you wonder why you wake up still feeling tired, still feeling heavy, still feeling like rest has not truly come. Oh, my dear ones, your bed is where you surrender to the night, where your body heals, where your mind resets, where your spirit dreams. And if the space where you rest is covered in things that no longer carry life, then what kind of renewal can truly take place? How can abundance find its way to you when the very place you sleep is wrapped in the energy of lack? Some of you have been carrying the weight of past seasons, of struggles, of burdens, and you don't realize that your bed, yes, your very bed, is still holding on to them with you. That old blanket from a time when things were difficult, that pillow that has been with you through years of worry and doubt, those sheets that once covered you in heartbreak, in loss, in nights where tears soaked into the fabric. But let me tell you something, my dear ones. Newness requires new spaces. If you want to step into abundance, If you want to wake up with clarity, if you want to feel the presence of renewal in your life, you must first make sure that your resting place reflects that. You must create an atmosphere where peace can dwell, where comfort is not just a habit but a choice, where what touches your skin at night is a reflection of the life you are stepping into. So I ask you today, what in your bedroom, in your very bed, has served its time? What have you been holding on to simply because it has always been there? What needs to be released so that true rest, true peace, true abundance can find its way to you? Because, my dear ones, you are not meant to sleep in the remnants of what was. You are meant to rest in the presence of what is possible. And that begins with making space for it. Oh, my dear ones, let me tell you something. What you breathe in, you become. The air that fills your room, the atmosphere that surrounds you, it does not just sit idly. It moves, it carries. It holds the energy of everything that has happened in that space. And yet, too many of us have allowed our bedrooms to become places of stale air, of unmoved energy, of spaces where nothing flows freely. Have you ever walked into a room and felt something heavy in the air? Have you ever sat in a space and though nothing looked wrong, it still felt like something was lingering? That is because air is not just air. It holds memory. It carries energy. It either gives life or allows stagnation to take root. And my dear ones, if your bedroom is filled with still, stagnant, artificial air, then you are not sleeping in a place of renewal. You are resting in a place of delay. Some of you have not opened your windows in weeks. Some of you have been sleeping under the weight of air that has not been refreshed, under ceilings that hold onto yesterday's thoughts, yesterday's burdens, yesterday's uncertainties. And without realizing it, you have made an agreement with stagnation. Because if nothing moves, if nothing shifts, if the air itself feels trapped, then how can the spirit of abundance, of newness, of prosperity find you? Oh, my dear ones, nature teaches us something so powerful. Fresh air is the breath of life. The wind moves, the trees sway, the rivers flow, because movement is part of abundance. And when you allow air to sit still, when you keep your windows shut, when you never let the outside world refresh your space, you are closing yourself off from the very renewal that was meant to find you. Some of you have been waking up tired, not because your body is exhausted, but because your spirit is suffocating in an atmosphere that does not breathe. Some of you have been experiencing dreams that feel clouded, thoughts that feel unclear, prayers that feel unheard, because your space has become a container rather than a sanctuary. And my dear ones, abundance does not grow in places where the air does not move. But hear me now. This is an easy thing to shift. This is something you can change today. Open your windows, let the air flow. Clear out the old energy that has settled into your space. If you have artificial scents, sprays, or things that do not carry the freshness of life, replace them with something pure, something that breathes. Let the wind move through your home. Let the air be new. Let the energy shift. Because when you create space for life to move, you create space for blessings to find you. Oh, my dear ones, do not let your bedroom be a place where things grow still. Let it be a place where freshness lives, where movement happens, where every breath you take is a reminder that newness is always within reach. Because when the air flows, so does abundance. When the air moves, so does peace. And when the atmosphere is clear, the presence of prosperity has no choice but to enter.